Hey, Sid, how's it going?
Great, man. It's been some unusual cricket, but for the betterment, seeing Australia being walloped by Pakistan in the three-match series, but we'll get to that just now. And yeah, let me just share my screen with you quickly there. Okay, where is it here? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. There's quite a lot of. Oh, yeah, it is okay. Let me just see if you can see the screen here. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh yeah, let's start with New Zealand versus India. They lost the series 3-0. If someone had told me that at the beginning of the series, I would have thought the person was mad. But here we are, man. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it kind of still gives me goosebumps, hey, when I look at the series and how India managed to lose this 3-0 at home conditions. I mean, New Zealand, a side that haven't won in India in over 35 years, Sid. 35 years. They've not just gone on to win the series, they've gone on to whitewash India. I mean, this is definitely, I would say, I mean, if you're looking at New Zealand cricket test cricket
Mm,
history, this probably has to go down as the greatest achievement,
mm,
in the history. But I mean, India, I mean, so much to ponder, so much to ponder in the series.
mm,
Uh, the batting was really poor. Let's be honest. I mean,
mm,
just
mm,
one innings at Bangalore when they made over 400 plus. Apart
mm,
from that, it's been really poor. I mean, Sharma, Kohli haven't been in the runs. I think the only player that can really put their hand up in the series and say, they had a pretty good series was probably Pant. I think Pant was
mm,
was a standout player for India in the
mm.
series, and those senior players just went missing. Uh, have I seen spin being played worse? Probably England in
Yeah.
against Pakistan. That was probably the worst I've
Mm,
seen of a team playing against spin. But I mean, India were pretty close in the series. Eh?
mm,
The way they played the spinners of New Zealand. And let's be honest, son. Let's be brutally honest. These are not world
mm.
class. You can't really call them world class spinners, son. I mean, you come in.
Yeah.
They kind of outbowled India in their own backyard. I mean, outbowling the
Mm,
likes of Ashwin, Ravindra, Jadeja, and
mm.
uh, and getting this getting this win here. I mean, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. There's a real problem with India now regarding that WTC standings, because this is really going to
Mm,
hit them hard. And as you said, I mean, we spoke about this off air. It's going to be tough for them to win 4-0 in
yeah.
Australia and actually
Mm,
give themselves a chance. So I would say mathematically, it's going to be kind of impossible for them to make that final at Lord's next year now, given what has happened here
mm,
in the series. So I think the border Gavaskar now is all about getting that confidence back, Sid, because
mm,
Indian Test cricket has really taken a big, as the confidence has taken a huge hit in the series. I mean,
mm,
unexpected. So they need to get they shouldn't worry about winning 4-0 in Australia. Just try and
mm.
go and win the series. That's the most important thing, and get
Yeah.
that confidence back. Because I mean, if you try and think of situations like that, you could get yourself in trouble. So I think the most important thing for them is to actually go and win the series, and not worry about things that they can't control, because I think this now is really out of their hands. Given this
Mm,
result in the series, and unexpected, as you said. But
mm,
I mean, let's give a shout out to New Zealand. I mean, they were incredible.
mm,
I mean, the captaincy of Latham
mm.
from the first test. I mean, 46 all out. Who would have who would have thought that? And we all thought it was a blip. I mean, we all thought India going to come back strong and
Mm,
win the series
mm,
2-1. But never in our wildest imagination or dreams did we expect a 3-0 drubbing at home. Probably
yeah,
one
man.
of the lowest points in Indian Test cricket, the series. I mean, I'm trying to think of anything worse at home.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I can't put
home.
my finger on it. This is probably the
Yeah.
lowest point. Yeah.
I mean, the other lowest point was in Adelaide, but then India won that series 2-1. So I guess, yeah, I guess we could have always taken inspiration from that one. But yeah, anyway, I try and forget the series because it's too depressing.
But I guess it's food for thought in a sense where India, especially their domestic players, uh, especially the international players, got to play a lot more domestic cricket, and you can see that there's a lack of first class cricket in this Indian team. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, these players have proved themselves over and over again. But what has surprised me more in the series is the lack of confidence when it comes to playing spin. Because I mean, Indians were always renowned for playing spin bowling, well, and this is like really kind of an eye opener. I mean, look, we living in the era of T20 cricket. I mean, there are kind of shots that are going to change. I mean, if you look at Jaiswal, I mean, that reverse sweep in that fourth innings, did it really call for that? I think it really called for calm heads. I think calm heads would have won that game for India. And I think after Jaiswal got dismissed, there was absolute panic in that Indian dressing room. And I mean, we were calling it here, sir. I mean, we were praising India. I mean, they're bowling so well in that second innings, restricting New Zealand to 174. Never in our wildest dreams did we think that India are going to bottle this chase and not be able to chase at 141 down. So it's a shock to everyone, hey. But I mean, as you said in the beginning, in the intro, this could be a blessing for Test cricket in a way.
Oh, when did I say that? I don't remember saying it's a blessing for Test cricket. You
said that the results so far are good for the game. So this can only be positive going forward for the game, and obviously New Zealand cricket. But I mean India, obviously back to the drawing board for them now.
Oh, okay. I'm getting old.
We all are.
Okay, all right. We'll get to the next segment, which would probably make India a lot better. I feel a lot better because they are the T20, champions. And yeah, I did say at the beginning of this T20 series, India will win 3-1. And so far, they've got one of those wins out of the way against our country, South Africa. South Africa's slow to get off the block with the bowling, but then the funny story is India kind of lost steam, but they still won by a massive 61 runs. What were your thoughts, man, in the first T20?
Yeah, I mean, I watched this on TV on Friday. I mean, if you look at this Indian T20 side, it's an absolute contrast compared to their Test team. This team plays with so much of confidence and flair. I mean, led by Surya. Well led by Surya, and I mean you saw the confidence there in the batting department on Friday. I mean, thankfully the heavens were on our side, and there wasn't rain in Durban, because I mean we know how notorious Durban is for rain at this time of the year. But thankfully we got a good game. I was happy about that. What I wasn't happy about was the Protea result. I think that was a bit. I think it was a bit of a cobwebs kind of performance from SA. They really rusty. I think a lot of players were coming back into the setup after a long time. When we look at the likes of Klaasen and Miller, and there was a lot of new faces in that team as well, which obviously made things a little bit difficult in the sense that the inexperience showed. I mean, Simalane and Nkaba Peter. I mean, I know he did play a few games in UAE against Afghanistan and apologies, it was Ireland. But I mean, he's still relatively new to this Test arena. To this international arena. So I mean, Coetzee and Jansen bowled really well. But I mean, Samson. I mean, he was the highlight of the night. I mean, brilliant innings. What was it? 7 4s and 10 6s, 107 or 50. How many deliveries was that? I know he got his 147 deliveries.
Yeah, or 107 or 50 deliveries, 10 6s and 7 4s.
That's incredible. I mean, he was on the assault. He was really on the assault. And the funny thing about that Indian innings, sir, I mean, if you take Samson's score out, I mean, there wasn't really much, to shout about from the other batters. I mean, okay, Tilak did chip in there, but in India were actually,
Yeah.
looking at a score of around, 230, 240 at one stage. So SA did come
Yeah.
back really well, but I mean,
Yeah.
the batting was a lot to be desired. Hey,
Yeah.
Markram, I mean, still struggling for form. I mean, how many times are we going to talk about this? I mean, Markram hasn't been in good touch in the white ball format, ever since the T20 World Cup, and something has to be done now. I mean, okay, I get he's the captain, but he really needs to step up, man. I mean, it's been really crap from him recently in terms of getting 12 scores on the board. I mean, yet again, Markram looks so good, and then he loses his wicket. I mean, it's been the trend of his career for some reason. And Rickleton, obviously, there was a cameo there, but a few loose dismissals. But I mean, you're full of credit for India. So I mean, the way they performed, the bat setting up that total of 200 plus, and then the bowlers really came to the party. I mean, Varun, Bisnoy, Avish, Hasdeep. I mean, they all bowled as a unit. There was a collective team effort, and I mean, SA fall well short, and then 62 runs. I mean, 61 runs. That's a bit of a drubbing in T20 terms, eh?
Yeah, actually, if you're looking at the second T20, it's been played in, I can't even pronounce this ground's name, but I think this is in Port Elizabeth, if I'm correct.
I
And if you're
will
looking what they're saying
pronounce
for
it
the
for you
pitch
if you
conditions,
if you do it.
I
If you
predict,
want me to, I've got the
sure,
pronunciation. Do you want to hear it?
sure.
Klebecha. It's Klebecha. So it's a bit of a
Oh,
tongue twister. Klebecha.
yeah. I think that's in the
Yeah.
Port
So
Elizabeth, right?
yeah, Klebecha, obviously the old PE.
Okay,
Changed to Klebecha now, and obviously, I mean, we're playing at the
okay,
famous St. George's Park. I mean, a ground
okay.
we all familiar with. But yeah,
And I think we should be having a good chance to win if you read what they're saying here. With good bounce and carry, I think if we probably bowl first and we restrict them to maybe 140, I think SA will probably win today's one if you look at the pitch conditions. But then I won't take it for granted. I still think it's either one. But I think judging by this thing, I think we probably are slight favorites, but I wouldn't be surprised if India won. That's all what I'll say for today's match.
yeah. Look, I mean, to keep the series alive, it's really important for SA to win today. It's kind of non-negotiable in a way, Sid, because I mean,
True.
you actually want to go into that final two games. I mean, having an opportunity to win the series. So today is non-negotiable. I think the senior players will definitely have to step up, especially Markram. We haven't seen much from him lately. I will give a pass to the likes of Miller and Klaassen, because I think they were just coming back after some time out. So I mean, these guys are seasoned pros. I mean, they don't really need much time to get in. It's all about see ball and hit ball. They season white ball specialists, so I don't really have much issues with them. It's the likes of Markram that I do have issues with, and obviously the bowling needs to be a little bit tighter, especially from the spinners. They can't give away too many freebies like what was dished out at Kingsmead the other day. There were too many loose deliveries that Samson and company just dispatched at will to the boundaries. So hoping for an improved performance from SA. I think we are going to get a good game today, and let's see if SA can level the series and take it 1-1 going to the Highveld. Should be really exciting, hey?
Okay, let's get to this one here, Australia and Pakistan. Another surprise here. After having New Zealand whitewashing India, you have Pakistan beating Australia 2-1 in the ODI series. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for Pakistan, eh? I mean, they've had a really, really tough time of it. I mean, think about it, Sid. The last 2 years haven't been easy on Pakistan cricket. I mean, you talk about the 50-over World Cup last year, not qualifying for the knockouts, and then this year in the T20 World Cup, not qualifying for the knockouts, effectively being sent home in the group stages. And then obviously the low of all lows, losing to Bangladesh at home in a test series. I never thought in my lifetime I'd see Pakistan lose to Bangladesh at home. But I mean, this is what happened. But I mean, this is an amazing win for them in Australia. I mean, after 22 years, the first last was in 2002. But I mean, if I look at that Australian side, there were a lot of chopping and changing, hey, in this
Yeah.
team here, especially after
5
that first
changes, I think.
ODI, which I think
Yeah.
Pakistan had a good chance of winning as well, Sid.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cummins, kind of got them home in that game. But look, the last two games, I mean, Haris Rauf, I mean, come the man. What a performance! What a performance in the series. I mean, 10 wickets, 5 in Adelaide, two in this match at Perth, and 3 at Melbourne. It was a fantastic series for him. I mean, this guy plays in the BBL. He plays in the Big Bash League, and he plays for Melbourne Stars. He's a pro in these conditions in Australia. So, and I think he's going to be a handful in that T20 series as well, because Australia, I mean, as we know, they've got bigger fish to fry. They've got a lot of players that are rested because, I mean, it's the big one at the end of the month. Let's be honest, the Border Gavaskar, everything is leading up to the Border Gavaskar. So that's a big one for Australia. And there was a lot of newbies in this side in the last two games for Australia. But I mean, take nothing away from Pakistan. They bowled superbly as a unit. I mean, the 4 quicks, Husnain, Shaheen, Rauf, and Nasim, they were brilliant, Sid. They were absolutely brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant in the series. The way they restricted Australia to these kind of low totals. I mean, beating Australia in Australia is no mean feat. So, I mean, congrats to Pakistan. This is a massive achievement for them.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of Yuvraj when I was watching Haris Rauf do so well, because he's always talking about how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, UV speaks a lot of sense. I mean, this guy is really good. This guy is really good. I mean, the one thing on him, he's a game changer. He's a game changer. He comes on, he takes wickets. So, I mean, he is a game changer. He's a wicket taker. He's a match winner. So, this guy, I mean, if anything, he needs to play Test match cricket as well. But I can understand why. I think a lot of players are looking at trying to maximize their careers. And excuse me, obviously, Test cricket is really taxing on the body. But I mean, it can be done. I mean, look at Rabada, look at Bumrah. I mean, they are examples, Sid. They are examples of players that play all 3 formats, and still, say again.
No, I say that they're rare breeds, those guys.
They are rare breeds. But what I also think that's good about them is they actually well taken care of, and they in terms of player management. I think if you look at bilaterals, Rabada doesn't play a lot of bilateral series anymore. But I mean, if you look at them when they come to the T20 World Cup or they come to the Test arena, they're always up for it. So there are ways so that you can maximize a player's career, and rest is obviously paramount to that. And that is how you get the best out of a player. But I mean, as you said, rare breeds. I mean, once in a generation kind of bowlers.
Okay, let's get to the next segment, which is West Indies and England. And well, I think we did predict West Indies to win the series, but it was a good series. It was 2-1 to West Indies, and they really walloped England in this third ODI. Let me just go to click here on summary. I think, what were your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, they were superb. I mean, especially in the batting lineup, there was some great scores here from a lot of I think their top order really fired in the series, and they put an inexperienced kind of England bowling lineup to the sword here. Let's be honest, especially in this third game. I mean, Casey Carty, superb. I mean, I saw him in the Test series against SA. He looked good, hey, and he was always making starts and then getting himself out. But we saw the best of him here in the series. Brandon King as well. I mean, he's been around there for a while. I mean, if I look at those grounds, the way they're playing, they're not very big grounds.
Yeah.
In the sense, so you can really clear those boundaries at will. And the Windies are really masters of those in terms of their conditions. and they showed what a formidable outfit they can be at home, especially in white ball cricket. So, I mean, no surprises in the series win. Uh, they took their opportunities and outplayed England, pretty well. And England are feeling they in kind of a transition at the moment. Uh, they're trying to build up for the next probably the ICC Champions Trophy, and then obviously the next World Cup. Quite a few players that are not there anymore, so they've got to look at it that way, of trying to rebuild, and that's what these bilateral series are there for. But I mean, on their day, said England are still a pretty dangerous team with the bat.
Especially in T20s. I mean, I was watching the highlights, and my God, so full salt really shired them, shired the West Indies here. 103 runs, the 54 bowled, and I know they're playing against them today. So I think I had predicted West Indies to probably win the T20 series last week 3-2, or that 4-1 actually. What did you predict last week? Because if England play like this, England might win this series. It's early days. I mean, West Indies will probably come back today. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's early days. It's early days, but I mean, look at the power. I mean, Phil Salt has been one of the best T20 players going around this year. I mean, even if you look in the IPL as well with KKR, I mean, he was superb.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, no surprises. He can be really explosive one in his day, and he can single-handedly take a game away from the opposition, and exactly what he did. So, I mean, these are powerful betting lineups. So, I expect a close series.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to call. Hey, it's a tough one to call. This one could go either way. Eh? I would say 3-2. Uh, 3-2 to the Windies, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can actually win the series as well. Eh? I think it's going to be
Hmm.
highly competitive.
Okay, let's get to the next agenda here. I also watched the highlights of Sri Lanka and New Zealand, and my God, that pitch was ready for bowlers. But I guess sometimes they don't mind these occasional bowling type pitches. 135 plays to 140. Sri Lanka won by 4 wickets. Could have gone either way. They're also playing again today in the same ground at Dambula, so I'm willing to predict Sri Lanka. My God, two T20 they're playing in the series. How depressing! I mean, it could be a tied series. Gosh, that's nasty. But I think Sri Lanka will probably win again. So I think, considering how much they're in form, so what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Sri Lanka proving to be quite a formidable team at home. Eh? I mean, we saw it in that
Hmm.
India series.
Hmm.
They were really superb in that ODI series. And the Windies, I mean, they blew the Windies away literally in the ODIs and the T20s, and you're seeing it again here with New Zealand. I think their bowlers are so experts. They really are experts in terms of their conditions.
Hmm.
And when the ball is spinning, they are an absolute handful uh,
Hmm.
in their conditions. So you said two T20s, eh?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand, if Sri Lanka wrap the series up today, eh? Because I think New Zealand. I mean, look at it. If you look at it, there's a lot of new faces on the New Zealand side. A lot of the players from the Test team have been given a break, and rightfully so. I mean, they did create history in India, so they do deserve a break. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting game, eh? But yeah, I'd go 2-0 Sri Lanka, eh? And then how many ODIs are they playing?
They're playing 3 ODIs, so I think they're all okay. There's one of the Palakele. No, there's two of Palakele, and there's one at Dambula. So I think if I'm going by that logic, I think it's tough. I don't want to disrespect New Zealand, but either 3-0 or 2-1. I'm going with those two results.
I'd go 2-1 to Sri Lanka. I'd go 2-1. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised by 3-0 as well. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'd go
Hmm.
2-1.
Okay, all right. I think the last segment, although I didn't watch the highlights of this, but it was quite a bizarre one to look at. Okay, here it is. Afghanistan against Bangladesh. And at one stage, Bangladesh were looking quite promising. And, okay, hold on a second. Okay, let me see. Oh, I see the series has been tied. The series is so far at 1-1, actually. Interesting. Let me just look at this quickly. Sorry about that. Okay, here it is. You have the first ODI where Bangladesh lost by 92 runs, and then the second one is Bangladesh won by 68 runs. So let's just revisit these two quickly because if I don't know if you looked at these. I don't know if you looked at this first one because they lost 8 wickets for like. I need to look at this, man. I was so shocked when I looked at it. Oh, okay. Avish, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the first ODI, 235 plays
Yeah.
143. I actually
Yeah.
didn't
So
watch these games, but I did see the scores on Cricket Info.
okay. Yeah.
We can go through it quickly. Maybe you can lead the way there.
Yeah. I haven't actually watched the highlight, but I wanted to because I didn't. I was quite shocked to see this collapse here. I think let me show it to you. I'm trying to look at the fall of wickets. You see, 1 for 12. Okay, here it is. 2 for 65, and then after you go for 2 for 65, they go from 3 to 120 to. That means they basically lost 7 wickets for 23 runs. It's like so
You
bizarre.
basically lost 8 wickets for 23 runs, basically, because I mean you were 2 for 120 and you lost the
Mm,
third wicket at 120. So
mm,
yeah, I mean that is absolute carnage in this
mm,
in the form of the way they collapsed there. But I mean Gazanfar, I mean that name is very familiar because I think he
mm.
did pretty well against
Against us.
SA when SA were
Yeah,
down there in the UAE as well. So
yeah. He bowled
this guy
beautifully.
is really making strides in the game, Sid. I mean, he's a really good spinner.
Mm,
So
mm.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm going to call it right now. I wouldn't be surprised this guy goes into the hat for the IPL and gets bought by one of these franchises because I think he's a really good bowler. He's a really
Yeah,
good bowler, very, very, very skillful bowler.
yeah,
And I mean, look at those figures: 6 for 26, absolutely superb.
yeah. I'm
You
trying
can't
to
ask for
get.
more as a captain.
Yeah, I'm trying to move to the next agenda, which is the second ODI, because I'd love to watch the highlights of this one, especially just to see. But I can't actually. Sorry about this. My internet's a little slow, but it's good for Bangladesh to bounce back. In the second ODI, it showed a lot of character, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, given the spanking that they got in the first game, I think learnings have been shown here, and it was a really strong comeback from them, beating Afghanistan so convincingly. And Afghanistan are really formidable in the UAE. Hey, let's be honest about that. So they really
Hmm.
really are a formidable team in the
Yeah,
UAE in those conditions. So
yeah. I'm just
yeah,
trying to
so it's a
see
three
the.
match series. Hey,
Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Just want to try and.
is
Oh,
it
yeah,
is it a 3 match series?
it should be. I don't think these. To put it respectfully, lower teams play a lot of long series. It's only the big team that play longer series, if you know what I mean. It's kind of sad. Mm, hmm. Sorry about that. My internet is a little slow. I just want to see what the scores were, and then we can nearly call it a wrap here just now. Okay, just want to see something. Oh, hmm. Out of curiosity, if Australia lose to India 3-0 and they lose the Sri Lanka series 2-0, does that still give India maybe some hope, or will India still not qualify?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Hey, that's really an interesting question. But I mean, you wouldn't bet on Australia not winning a test in a 5 test series at home. So I mean,
Yeah,
that is really really pushing it now.
I know.
Two nil away from 2-0 away from home against Sri Lanka is not that far fetched. I think it is
Hmm,
possible. It is a possibility because Sri
hmm,
Lanka are quite superb at home. But
hmm.
I mean, India winning 3-0 on Australia is a bit optimistic. I think if
Yeah,
they
I
do
know.
win, they do win. They do win. If they do win, it's still going to be pretty close. I think around 3-2
Hmm.
or yeah, I think 3-2 is probably a more realistic kind of series
Yeah, I know. I
kind
know.
of
I was
result
just.
for India
Yeah, I know. I was
because
just.
I think both teams are really going to go all out for the win in every game, and that's going to
Yeah.
make it so exciting for us as fans to watch that.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. I know that Sunil
I would say
Gavaskar.
the only ground that probably possibly you could get a draw is Sydney, because there's so
Hmm.
much of rain in Sydney. You
Yeah.
never know what you can get in Sydney. But I think the other venues is going to be really competitive. You're definitely going to see results there. But Maybe Sydney with the rain, you might not get a result, but all the other stadiums, you definitely are going to get results.
Yeah. Okay. As you can see, a score the 252 plays 184, 68. Okay. Yeah. I think we probably did.
So what this tells me, sir, this is a bat first wicket. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at Afghanistan, they made 234 in the first game, and they what is it, 234, and they bundled Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh out for what was it, 134, and then this game, yeah,
Yeah.
252 plays 180. So this is a bat first wicket. I think whoever bats first is going to win this game. And my money is on Afghanistan to win the series, sir.
Yeah. I
What do
think
you
it's
think?
probably okay. Let's see. Let me see. Is it a three-match series? Sorry about that. My internet's really wackadoodle today. It's like playing gymnastics. Yeah, I think my money is on whoever bats first will win the match. It's very
Yeah,
difficult to.
absolutely. I mean, we did see it from these two games that whoever batted first put the scores on the board, and it's really, really difficult to chase in Afghanistan, in the UAE. And I think that SA and Afghanistan series showed as well how difficult it is to chase bat second on those decks. So
I,
yeah, I
I
think
think
I see Afghanistan edging Bangladesh in the series. I just got that feeling.
yeah.
I just feel their spinners are a lot more superior than Bangladesh.
Yeah, you're right. I remember SA did win one match against Afghanistan. That was two by chasing, but they bowled them out for such a cheap score. I don't think SA were going to embarrass themselves by losing that match. If you remember, it's true. I mean, it was really quite a shock to the system when I saw that series. But then there was a lot of experimentation, so I guess that's our probably consolation, I would say. But I think let me look at the championship table quickly, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
What's it?
sure.
Oh yeah, I just remembered something. Actually, do you know if the? I wonder if we made any predictions following the. Oh, sorry. Actually, it's okay. I'm gonna try and is the Australian series toward the end of this month, right? Australia and India. Because I have a theory, right, and I don't want to be a doomsayer for the fans, but if India don't win the first two tests, they 2-0 down, I think this is going to be a very much a funeral series because one is that they don't have any hope of qualifying for the finale. So I think the only way the series will be exciting is if India win the first match, and then they can at least hopefully go 2-0. That's where you might get more maja out of the series. I'm just saying, man. I have that feeling it's going to be either a depression or it could be a so meaning that India is going to play for broke in that
Okay.
series.
You know
Hmm.
what's going to be exciting, Sid? You know what's
Hmm.
going to be exciting? Uh, any guesses? Any guesses?
Exciting would be if we can win our home series.
Okay. What's also going to be exciting is us previewing this blockbuster series next week. So next week is going to be our preview of this big series. So we can go right down to it and really go in depth into the squads
Oh
and
yeah,
the venues, and yeah, it's going to be really exciting trying to pick out results in the series here on all those venues. But yeah, I
yeah,
am up for the challenge. It's going to be a really really blockbuster series, as you said. uh yeah, so
yeah. I'm just trying to see
you
something.
were saying 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, if India can win the first two games in that series. A little bit
Yeah,
optimistic, but I will give you my prediction next week.
yeah. No. I'm not saying India are gonna get there, but I'm just saying if they start like that, then you'll get an exciting series in terms of India trying to make the finale. Because I feel it could either be a depression, or it could either be something really exciting for the Indian fans. But as you said, we'll revisit that next week.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. It's still
Okay.
going to be a pretty evenly contested series.
Hmm.
India, obviously, we understand the problems they've got, but Australia have got
Hmm.
some problems as well, and we'll discuss that next week. I think
Yeah, I
their problems are probably at the top of the order at this
yeah,
stage.
and also made fact, and also due to the fact that how delightfully they played in the series against Pakistan, so that might give the Indian bowlers some hope actually. So that's what I was thinking of. So that could give India some hope. It's true. Although
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. I mean, look. if you bend your back in Australia, you're going to get assistance. Just ask Harish Rauf. He bent his back in the series and he got the rewards.
Yeah. So Pakistan, you could say, have done a favor for India in a way, which is kind of nice. It's true. I mean, normally those two teams love one another so much. I just don't think you ever would expect favors. Yeah, sorry, I'm not able to open the screen. But as I said, we'll revisit that next week. I think they're playing toward the end of the month, if I'm correct. Or they're playing
the first test is on the 22nd of November at Perth.
Wow. Okay, that's still a good ground for, I think, Australia actually. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're not actually playing at the old WACA ground, where pitches where test matches used to take place back in the days. They're playing at the Optus Stadium now, which is still quite a fast pitch. Because I did see it this morning. I mean, Pakistan. I mean, the way they were bowling on their deck, and the deliveries were flying through to Rizwan. Rizwan's glove. So there is a lot of pace in that wickets. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it next week. It's going to be a blockbuster series.
Yeah, I just remembered. Actually, we forgot to give credit to the New Zealand female for winning that T20 World Cup. I know that was a long time ago. I was pretty shocked when I saw the result. After we could beat Australia, I don't know what happened to us, but credit to New Zealand. I think they're having a nice few months winning the female cricket World Cup. They won in India for the males. Maybe the males took inspiration from that. Who knows? And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my end. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, what an achievement it was for the New Zealand women's team. I mean, if you look at that team, really experienced team. Well led by Sophie Devine, and Susie Bates has been around there for a while. Amelia Kerr. There was a lot of experience in their bowling as well. I mean, Leah Tahuhu, she's been there a while. I mean, heartbreaking for SA. For SA in that final. I mean, the way they dispatched Australia. I mean, the mighty Australians in that semi-final. But New Zealand, I think, if I look back now, I think their experience showed that New Zealand are a really, really experienced side. A lot of players have been there, have tasted defeat, and this was definitely like the cherry on the top for them. So, who knows? It could be SA's time in the next tournament. But yeah, congrats to the New Zealand ladies, and obviously the men's team were riding a wave in India as well. So. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's been an incredible month for New Zealand cricket, eh? I mean, who would have thought that's it, looking back? But yeah, they are making the headlines.
Okay. Anyways, I shall check you next week, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's going to be a bumper Sunday. I mean, you've got the Proteas in action. You've got the Bokke in action against Scotland later on this evening. So, yeah, I mean, enjoy the action and